Hey, hi all. I welcome you all to this presentation where we are going to discuss about the role of AI in enhancing our secure coding practices. We'll be also covering the secure coding principles, that is your emerging AI tools, then your comparison of the AI coding assistants like Devin and the Cursor. We'll discuss different high impact use cases, the cross-cutting considerations for the stakeholders. We'll discuss about the challenges, the limitations, and also the ethical and privacy concerns, along with the future outlook in AI and DevSecOps integration. So you all know that the secure coding is it's a foundation element of the cybersecurity. That means it helps us to serve a critical defense against the software vulnerabilities that leads to data breach leaks, the data leaks as well as the system compromises. We have a lot of advancement in this security technology, but most of the time the root cause of many of these cyber incidents that is due to the weakness in the code, that is a exploitable weakness into the code. So we need to ensure that okay, we are following the security throughout the entire software development lifecycle. Okay, a lot of studies and the real world assessment, from that studies we have come to know that AI generated code is also not immune to the security flaws. In fact, without proper oversight, these tools can inadvertently introduce the vulnerabilities that may go unnoticed, until it has been exploited. Okay, so we need to have a balanced approach, one that embraces the benefits of the AI while reinforcing the principles of secure coding practices. Okay, so what we need to do to ensure that we need to come up with a robust governance framework that must be established to guide the responsible use of the AI in software development. We need to have some verification mechanisms that includes your automatic secure testing, that the human in the loop view, that is very much, I'd say that that's essential to ensure the code integrity. Moreover, the developer education should, like say, that should be that must evolve to include the awareness of AI limitations as well as the best practices for secure coding in at these AI assisted environment. Okay. Now, we all know that say secure coding, that means that that refers to that where we are following some principles, some patterns, and the practices. With the help of that, we minimize the likelihood and impact of the software vulnerabilities. And that's not these practices are not limited to a single phase of development. Rather, I say they span the entire software development life cycle. Like say, you start from the requirements gathering and you design to the implementation. Then you go to the verification, release, and incident response. That's we always follow the soft security best practices over that. Okay, and if we talk about the some key elements of these secure coding practices, that includes your input validation, then the memory safety, cryptographic safeguards, then robust error handling. Okay, I'll just give an example. Take an example that when you want to validate the user input, that how can you prevent the injection attacks, that at the same time the strong authentication and the least privilege authorization should be followed to reduce the risk of the unauthorized access. Okay. If we talk about the modern threat landscape that is being shaped by the recurring software weaknesses that normally the attackers they exploit to the compromised systems. So we talk about the MITRE, that is CW top 25 list, that normally highlights the most dangerous and the prevalent weakness, that including the different type of the injection attacks, that your memory safety violations and all that stuff. Okay. So now what we need to do to mitigate this risk, that we need to uh, explicitly model these weakness classes during the architecture review. That is most important, and at the same time we need to come up with the process foundations. That means it's not a ad hoc measure. It's like say the secure coding is not say ad hoc measure. It requires the structured process, the frameworks, and we should follow the some of the industry standards like Microsoft. They have their soft security development lifecycle, that is SDL, as well as the NIST secure software development framework, that is SSDF. We should into follow it, and like say, it should be integrated into every phase of your secure software development lifecycle. At the same time, we also need to think about the automation, like how can we automate the scanning of the integration of the scanning tools, like say, which is being used for the static application security as well as the dynamic application security testing, so that you can diagnose the vulnerabilities at an early stage. Okay. Now, in the security of a software, or like say the secure coding, the people plays a very important role. Okay, along with the technology. So that means we need to build up a security culture within the development teams. At the same time, the security, a lot of studies that reveal that the security concerns raised during the code reviews that often remain unresolved without clear accountability and the process supports. That's the reason, like say, the organizations they should implement the structured review checklist, that mandatory sign-offs for critical changes, and the provide developers with actionable feedback. Okay. When we talk about the metrics and the outcomes, that is, we need to measure the effectiveness of secure coding initiative, and that some of the metrics can be taken example, the defect density by CWE category, mean time to remediate of your high or critical security findings. That means how responsive you are to remediate the security issues. Then we also need to have the test coverage of the security critical modules, and at the most important is that the compliance with the secure coding standards. Now, evolution of AI tools, that is, AI tools are really helping the organizations, and the organizations are transforming by by using these AI tools. Okay. So earlier, if you look into that world, the AI powered tools, they were limited to the context aware auto completions, like say where the normal developer they suggest for the next line of code. But nowadays, these tools have been evolved to the autonomous agents that are capable of planning, coding, testing, and even deploying applications with minimal human factors. Okay. If you talk about the developer AI collaboration, that really plays a very important role over here. And like say, now the developers they collaborate with AI to generate the functions, they refactor code, and improve the architecture efficiently. Okay. Drivers of AI adoptions is there. One is the most important, like say time to market the market pressure. That means the organizations they seek faster release cycle, and definitely these tools are helping them to reduce the coding time. At the same time, the talent shortage, we can overcome with that. At the same time, the complexity of the modern systems, like say that we have the microservices, APIs, distributed architectures, and then AI can really help us to manage this complexity by automating or repetitive and the errand-prone task. Now, if you talk about the security risk of these AI-generated codes, that is, one is the security vulnerabilities in the AI code. Yes, definitely a lot of studies that have come up that says that 40 to 60% of the AI-generated code really that the code it shows the security flaws. Okay, when you generate the code under the default conditions, and that's the reason that these AI models they really prioritize the, if you look into that how the AI models they work, that means they normally prioritize the functional correctness over the security unless you are instructing it specifically. Okay. So at the same time that we need to organizations they need to implement the guardrails, that is basically for the secure prompt engineering. Then we have the automated static analysis, then human in the loop review. This all is very helpful. Okay. Industry standards, already I discussed about the for the data governance for the secure development lifecycle, that is the SSDF. We discussed about that. In the if you talk about the NIST SSDF, then we have a AI specific extension that is SP 800 to 180 that provides the recommendations for integrating AI into these. So we have the data governance should be there, model risk. We need to evaluate the AI model for the biasness, for the robustness and the security, and definitely we need to actively test AI systems for the adversarial vulnerabilities. That is, the red teaming activity should be performed. Okay. In my this study, I have just used the two tools, the popular tools. One is that the cursor, that is a AI enhanced ID, and at the same time the Devin. There's two tools we have discussed with. Devin is basically is your the autonomous AI engineer, and the cursor is basically your AI enhanced ID. Okay, so you need to be more interactive with the cursor, but in case of the Devin, the as the, like it's a autonomous AI engineer, that means it is a advanced category of the AI tools. So it can really help us to the, like say the Devin can help us to reduce the development time significantly. But yes, it requires the strict governance to prevent unintended actions and all that stuff. Okay. Now, if you look into the study of like say the comparative summary of this cursor and Devin, like say as I discussed that cursor is ID centric, Devin is autonomous. When it comes to contest handling, that is the repository aware embedding, the full project planning and the memory that is there. The automation level is semi-automated, Devin is highly automated. And when it comes to the security controls, that yes, in the cursor we can have the privacy mode on, and we can also specify that is the optional option, that is code storage. But with the Devin that is being certified by the SOC 2 certifications, then VPC options, you can integrate it with your virtual private clouds network. It can access your code base over the VPN as well as the RBAC. Now, what we need to understand at this moment that when we are using these tools for the development, then we need to follow that secure by construction templates. That means we need to uh, implementation approach this, we should use the templates, and these templates are really going to definitely helping us for the to reduce the common vulnerabilities, the security integration without the frictions. Now the guardrails we discussed earlier, like say the curate that we can have the pre-written prompts or maybe the policy bound system messages to ensure that the model consistently applies the organization standards. Okay, I'll just give an example from the SQL. We say that okay, we should always use the prepared statement with the placeholders. That all stuff can be achieved with the help of this, and definitely it comes up with the success metrics also. Now these tools can also help us for the triage acceleration, then the workflow. We can look into the workflow and the human review. That means the alerts are ingested, normalized, and auto-ticketed with human in the loop, and then just-in-time developer education at the same time. And the most important is the guardrails and the success metrics, what I have been talking a lot, because we need to have these guardrails in place related to the curated prompts as well as the code reviews, the PR comments, and all that should be used. Now, we can also use these AI tools for the AI assisted threat modeling as well as the secure refactoring. And say that is my experience that Devin is really great for when it comes to the refactoring. I've been worked on different projects where you use the Devin for the refactoring. It can help us to understand the change impact analysis, the contest quality garbage in the and the guardrails should be there from the security perspective. Should be there. Okay. Now we'll discuss about the privacy, the model selection, and all that. So that is what we need to understand, guys. That we need to adhere to that all the regulations that is related to privacy as well as the data residency. That means how are you routing your sensitive code and artifacts to the private models or maybe the on-premises reference? Are we scrubbing our secrets or customer data before the prompts? Okay. Model selection is very much important over here. That which model are you using, whether it is being allowed in that particular geography or not. Then definitely the auditability should be there. That log prompts, that response, that what is the difference, the approvals, and we need to retain this evidence for the audits and the post-incident reviews. And the policy enforcement that should be there, like say that we need to encode the standards as the rules using like lint. We have the same graph is there, so these so that we can well ensure that okay these AI outputs are verifiably compliant, and the human in the loop will always be there. Okay. Thanks all for this session.